with corporate background and expertise in organizational and personal development. The sound of silence, please welcome Petja Jovanovic.
So, hello everyone. I'm so pleased to be today with you, but I'm not so happy that I'm the last speaker with such a silent topic. Can you imagine at the end of the conference, full day of conference, and now of different stories, different interesting topics, and now the sound of silence. When I was preparing this topic, I didn't know that I will be the last one, but I need to take the organizers to give me the chance to change a little bit of my slides so that I can make this presentation a little bit more dynamic because it's the end of the day. So how this presentation will look like? First thing that I will do, I will share a short story. My story, how I experienced the sound of silence when I was a participant at my first coaching conference ever. When I was choosing my path, if this will be my hobby or profession. Then we will do a zoom out. We will explore the silence from the broader perspective, from the systemic perspective, and then we will zoom in. And we will go into coaching session and how silence is related to everything that we do in coaching. And then we will do even more zoom in. We will go into disconnection that is happening sometimes when we coach our clients. And at the end, we will listen together one composition. It will last for 4 minutes. That will create an experience for us. So my idea is to have a short training. I'm a more trainer than a speaker. So 17 years ago, my first coaching conference, I was just a newly trained coach, and I was about to choose, will this be my profession or this will be my hobby, I will test it a little bit, and then I will continue with some other things related to personal development. The conference was happening in Prague. And of course, as in any conference, there is a keynote speaker, first keynote speaker, second keynote speaker, someone who is leading the conference, and I was sitting somewhere in the back. And the first keynote speaker stand in front of the audience, and he stand here, he looked on the left side, looked on the right side, looked forward, and he said, "Here we are." And he walked away. And we didn't know what happened. Is this like a part of a show? Will he come back? And then the person who was leading the program came here, she told her some joke, and then other presenters came, and the first block was over. And then during the break, we were talking among ourselves, so what happened here? What did he say? I mean, we were sitting somewhere in the back, so basically we didn't hear well. And I assumed that people who were organizing the conference approached Professor and asked him, look, there are younger people in the audience who don't understand this thing very well that happens, so would it be okay for you that you elaborate a little bit on this topic? And then I assumed that he said, of course, it will be okay. And then when second block came, person who was leading the conference announced Professor, but this time it was silence in the room. Everyone was really all present. We all wanted to hear, so what's the point with this thing that happened? Professor came again, he stand in front, he looked left, he looked right, he looked forward, and he said, here we are again. And he walked away. For 17 years, this thing stayed with me. At the beginning, I thought, oh, this is a stupid thing, this is like a emperor's new clothes, there is nothing in it. But what we do in coaching is actually this thing. We acknowledge that we are here, and we make a form of pause for people for clients, for teams, for team members to step in. So when I first time hear the title of the conference, I had so many different ideas, like what my speech would be about. But then I realized that each pause contains silence. There is no pause without silence. What our clients are sharing with us often, I mean my clients, at least corporate clients, they say, look, I make a break, I take a weekend off, I take an evening off, but my mind cannot stop working. It works all the time. And why it is working? Because we have this inner dialogue connected to our belief system that is working all the time. And in order to actually go above beliefs and to support clients to connect to what's truly important for them, what Maslow calls being values, we need to invite them to experience silence. And in this presentation, I would like to go into different directions. One thing will be going up, zooming really out, looking at the system as whole, and the other will be zooming in a coaching session. So if we step out, all the way into the universe, and for a moment you imagine that you're there, like these two astronauts. So in universe, in space, there are no molecules, so the sounds cannot travel, so there is nothing that you can hear, or at least if you have this equipment, there will be some kind of sound from your spaceship. But if for a moment you imagine that there is no equipment, then basically you will not hear anything. And what you will see is a pale blue dot, a planet Earth. And on this planet Earth is everything that you ever cared about, anyone that you ever loved, all your worries, all your dreams, everything is there. So you step back and you see system as whole. I had a chance to listen to some speeches from some astronauts who were in space. And their experience is that up there, you feel an enormous amount of humbleness because everything is there. And as coaches, what we want to do with our clients, we want to support them to step back, to zoom out, and to listen to the system that they are as a whole. To see the system as a whole. And then from the position of neutrality to make certain shifts. If now we make a little bit of zoom in from universe, where we are just one part of this universe, and then we focus on our life. So what is life? I mean, universe is whole, and then there is a life. There is my life, there is your lives, our lives. Life is a journey between birth and death. Very simple. And what is super important, that as coaches, we should be able to confront our client with these things. Not so many coaches are ready to confront clients with the idea of death. Like how I will talk about it. Is it okay? Like it's so frightening to talk about it. And I cannot talk about it because I have my own belief systems and my own inner dialogue, and I am not in the state of silence. But if we don't confront them, especially in the situations where they need to create some big decisions, we are not doing our job well. And what is super important when you think about life, on one side of this timeline, let's assume that this is the direction of future. Year after year, we'll get older, and many years from now, I will leave this place. And in the other side, of course, we as coaches don't go back in past. We just move into future. But, just hypothetically, if we just imagine that last year and 5 years ago and 10 years ago, we are younger and younger and younger, so we can trace our physical changes. So there is a continuum of physicality. And we can go all the way to the moment of conception. But what we can also observe that there is one moment when spirit or soul or sparkle gets into our tiny body, and on this side, and the opposite side, there is a moment where this spirit or sparkle or soul gets out from our old body. So what is super important that through our life, we want to get in contact with that sparkle, with that element that is inside of us. But because of all different layers that we're building our identity with, for example, there is our physical identity. So this is who I am. This is how I perceive myself. I mean, you watched most probably movie Face Off. It is really strange when you can imagine that you go into someone else's body. So there is a pure identification with the physicality. And then there is a social dimension of our identity. And when we are young, like we don't know who are our relatives. And then we learn about that. And then we come to school, we learn about our friends, our teachers. And then one point, when we become adults, we become super important. Why? Because we are leaders, we are managers, we are business owners. How I was presented here, look, I'm an entrepreneur. Look, I want to be all these things that I heard about me. It sounds super important. But all these super important things are basically taking me away from the core, from what is really there. And then there is also my psychological structure. Through any model, there is something intuitively that is happening inside of me and it is opening and closing. And there is a spiritual dimension of our identity. So identity is basically a multi-dimensional thing. And in interactions with other people, different types of identities are popping out. So right now, I'm not who I think I am, neither I'm who you think I am. I am who I think you think I am. So I'm not a presenter, actually. But you want me to present today, so I get into this role of presenter. I'm a trainer and coach dominantly. So in interaction with other people, different types of identities are popping out. And what is happening is that with lots of interactions with what we are doing is we are getting away. We are getting detached from this sparkle. So we have a choice to step away from this game and to make a break, to make a pause, and to connect to what is really there. It's not an easy job, but it is possible. It is what we do as coaches with our clients. And I would like to share a quote with you from Deepak Chopra. To make a right choice in your life, you have to get in touch with your soul. To do this, you need to experience solitude, which most people are afraid of, because in silence, you hear the truth and know the solution. And this is what we do in coaching sessions. We don't want just to resolve problems. Coaching is not about resolving problems. Coaching is about getting somewhere, moving somewhere, but in alignment with yourself. So there are two dimensions, as you all know, the dimension of achievement and dimension of personal transformation. And for personal transformation, we need to step, to make a pause. And coaching is a form of pause. What our clients are doing when they come to coaching session, they have this break, this time to step away from their life and to reflect on it. And this is also how leadership is developing. So you need to act and then to step back, to make a reflection and to make a new action. But for reflection, we need a pause, we need a break. And if we go even more in details, there are these elements of disconnection in coaching sessions. You know, like when you don't know what to say next. When you're like kind of, or in presentation, look, I just don't know what to say next. I mean, I know, but let's just assume that I don't know. If we just accept this thing and accept the moment of silence many new learnings might pop up for ourselves and for our clients. So what is the nature of silence? Silence is, what silence gives us space. When silence is there, we start to hear some voices that were not present there. Some people really hate silence. Maybe some of you know what it is. This is the most silent room in the world, built somewhere in Minnesota. It has almost perfect isolation for scientific purposes. There is like 99.99% of sounds cannot get there. What do you think, how many, I will not, let's say hours, a person can stay in that room? Sitting on a chair, not standing. It's not possible to stand there. Can you imagine? There is a room there, it's not possible to stand in this room. You need to sit. Not full hour. 45 minutes is the maximum that someone was able to spend in this room. So why? Why we are not able to spend time in a silent room? What is happening there? What do we hear? I mean, there are researches about these things. So there is a, you can find it on the internet, that people start to hear voices. What kind of voices? And little people in our heads start to talk. And then you can hear your heartbeat. And then you can get some hallucination. You lost the feeling of space. This is why you need to sit down. So silence is super powerful tool. Super powerful that we cannot stand it. 45 minutes, that's maximum. Silence has the vacuum effect. What does it mean, vacuum effect? When I was in sales before I became a professional coach, and then there is in sales training, how we were trained back then, was, like when you're talking with your clients and you give a proposal, you should stay silent. Don't talk. Because the first one who says something will lose. In coaching, we don't want to have a win-lose situation or lose-lose situation. We want to have a win-win situation. But often we want to help others. But helping by talking because we care. And why we talk? Because we are not clear about ourselves. So for professional coaches, we need all the time to develop our skills of being more in a coach position. Stop talking. Because, I think right now I'm not aware that something like this exists, but artificial intelligence will definitely be super powerful when it comes to silence. So going to the next level for most of us is basically being silent, creating this vacuum effect that will pull out things from our clients. And I want to share with you, I don't know if you know who John Cage is. He was a composer, and he created some super interesting things with not traditional instruments and not traditional approaches to music. And there is his piece that is called 4 minutes and 33 seconds. And I would like us all together to create the experience of this composition, if it is okay with you. 2 more slides, composition and 1 more. Dear ladies and gentlemen, silence is not the absence of something. Silence is presence of everything. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. There is a little gift from us to you. This is a nice blueberry plant. If gardened well, it will grow blueberries. So
Thank
some
you very
fruits
much.
of silence. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And we will take all the questions downstairs at the cafeteria. You will be able to ask them from Bedia. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.